Hello, how are you? You're doing fantastic? Oh, that's great to hear. What is my name? My name is Profe Kyle. Exactly, you know who I am. And if you don't know who I am, now you know who I am. And do you know what today's date is? Well, right now, at the time of this recording, today's date is October 5th, 2021. And the time? I think it's about 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I do believe. And this is a Profe Kyle simple English video. If you want a little bit of help while listening to me speak in a simple English and a slow English, you can click down below on the closed captioning button icon or subtitle icon, whatever you want to call it, and you can select from some subtitle options. And I want to talk about something. Right now, I am healthy. As you can see, I'm very healthy. I look handsome, my skin is bright, full of life, I can breathe easily, I can do exercise, I feel strong. But 3 weeks ago, I wasn't healthy. 3 weeks ago, I got sick. I got sick while I was in Cartagena, Colombia. And I don't like being sick. I hate being sick. Do you like being sick? No, of course not. Who likes being sick? The only good thing about being sick is maybe you don't have to go to work. That is a positive, right? Yeah, that is a positive. But sometimes, even when you're sick, you have to go to work. But I hate being sick because when I'm sick, I can't work, I can't do exercise, I can't go out because I don't want to get other people sick, and I just feel like crap. And I don't like feeling like crap. I like feeling healthy. But unfortunately, it happens. I got sick 3 weeks ago. But I didn't get sick with COVID. I know it's 2021. You're probably worried. You're probably thinking, Profe, maybe you had COVID. I know I didn't have COVID because I am a very careful person. And I know that COVID can be a very serious illness, especially if you don't treat it right away. So I took it very seriously. One day, I started to get a sore throat and I had a bit of a headache. And I knew that in some cases, those could be symptoms for COVID. I don't want COVID and I don't want to get other people sick. So, in Cartagena, I walked to a laboratory and I got myself an antigen test. And what did the antigen test say? It said that I was negative for COVID-19. And that day, my symptoms had gotten a bit worse. Not only did I have a sore throat and a bit of a headache, I now had a runny nose. I had the sniffles. But it sounded a lot worse than that. It sounded really gross. Something like that. Ooh, gross. But luckily, I didn't have COVID, and I knew that I probably just had a regular cold. Why did I get sick? I don't know. Some Colombians, they told me that it was probably because of a change of temperature. Before Cartagena, I was in Medellin, and Medellin has a pretty nice climate. I think it was about 28 degrees, 27 degrees Celsius in Medellin when I was there. But of course, Cartagena, if you don't know, is an incredibly hot place and incredibly humid. Woo! Very, very hot. And that does happen sometimes when you go to a place with a different climate. You can get sick. Your immune system is weakened and you get sick. So who knows, maybe that is why I got a cold. But I don't like being sick. So as soon as I get sick, I take action. So when I got sick with the cold in Cartagena, I went to the pharmacy. I got some vitamin C, I got some zinc, and I got some vitamin D. Now normally, when I'm at home in Canada, I have all my vitamins and I take them every day, even when I'm not sick. But when I'm traveling, I don't have a lot of space, so I don't like to pack a lot of stuff. So vitamins, they can take up a lot of space. So I wasn't taking my vitamins before I got sick. And maybe that's the reason I didn't get sick for 4 years before this, because I was taking my vitamins and I was eating healthy. Because me, I don't normally get sick. When I was younger, I would get sick maybe once or twice a year. But then about 6 years ago, I stopped eating a lot of sugar, I stopped eating a lot of bread, and I stopped eating a lot of fried foods or foods that used a lot of vegetable oils. Oh, and also I avoided processed foods. In other words, I avoided junk food as much as possible. So with my vitamins, my junk food, and a healthy lifestyle, I didn't get sick for 4 years. And the last time I was sick before this instance in Cartagena was back in Lima, Peru in 2019. And that could have also been because I wasn't taking my vitamins and I was traveling a lot. But because I know how to treat being sick quickly, I took my vitamins and I was only really sick for 2 days. And then after that, I started to recover. And within a week, I was completely healthy. But it was kind of funny because I had booked an Airbnb in Barranquilla in Colombia, a city close to Cartagena if you don't know. And I got my antigen test and it was negative. So I told myself that if the antigen test was positive, I would have to lose money and cancel my Airbnb reservation and stay in Cartagena and isolate. But if I didn't have COVID, then I was gonna go to Barranquilla and not lose my money. So it was negative. So the next day after I got my test, I got on a bus and I went to Barranquilla. But of course, I was sick. That was my second day being sick, and it was probably one of the worst days of my cold. And I was on the bus with other people, of course, and I had a runny nose. I had the sniffles. And I tried not to sniffle on the bus. Because, people right now are very paranoid. They think if somebody sneezes or somebody sniffles, that they must have COVID. But at the same time, I had a really runny nose. I had to sniffle. So within an hour of I think it was about a 3-hour bus ride, I started to sniffle. And the people around me started to look back at me. And I knew they were thinking, oh my God, does this foreigner, does this white man, does he have COVID? Oh my God, I'm gonna get sick. Now, if they did ask me, or if they would have asked me, I would have taken out my test results. I had them with me and shown them that, don't worry, I don't have COVID. It was negative, I just have a regular cold. but nobody ever asked me. And it was also funny because when I got to Barranquilla, the Airbnb owner, he welcomed me to the Airbnb, and again I had the sniffles, and he was also looking at me a little bit strange, like, oh my god, is there somebody with COVID who was gonna stay in my Airbnb? But again, I had my results. If they asked me, I would have just said, don't worry, negative for COVID, everything is fine, just a regular cold. So now I'm healthy, but 3 weeks ago I wasn't healthy. I had a cold, but because of my vitamins, because of drinking lots of water, because of resting and taking care of myself, I was only sick for about 2 days. So there is my story about getting sick. You have got lots of vocabulary about being sick in English. Hopefully you will be able to use it in the future. And don't worry if you can't use it right away. Just by listening to me, your English is advancing and improving. You may not believe me, but trust me, your English is improving. So, you want to practice a bit more your English? Tell me down below in the comments, when was the last time you got sick? Was it a regular cold? Or was it the flu? Or was it COVID? Or did you get food poisoning? Did you have a stomach sickness? Tell me, when was the last time you got sick down below? And that's it for now. Thank you very much for listening. Great patience. If you stayed until now, that shows me that you are serious about learning English. And I hope to see you in the next simple English video. Talk to you soon.